What's going on, guys? We got some I try not to be messy on this channel. First off, how you guys like the new view? Showing a little bit more of my stomach, my beer belly. But how you guys like the view? You see the posters. I like my channel art over here. You can see a little bit more of the desk than I would like, but I feel like this is a little bit more, better type of scenario. If you guys like the last one, we'll go back to the last one. But we're going to talk about Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan made some bold statements when they did the deal, and he went on and testified with, against that Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard, and King deal. And he said some very strong statements that I feel like people really gravitated towards. One of the biggest statements he said is that he talked to all the publishers, and he perceived to say that every publisher he talked to did not like this deal. So let's talk about the publishers. All right, there is EA. Guess what? EA is literally in the service. Ubisoft has put multiple games in Game Pass, multiple Assassin's Creeds in Game Pass. Clearly can't be them. Then you look at someone like, Bandai Namco. They're a little bit more different, but they put stuff like Jump Force in the franchise. I understand them. Maybe they're talking about Square Enix. But at one time, every Final Fantasy that's ever been made was in Game Pass. Every Final Fantasy. Maybe not the previous ones, the ones that's not in, modern consoles, the first like 5 or 6, but 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, every game that came to Xbox was in Game Pass at some form. So was Dragon Quest. So it can't be Square Enix. So let's talk about 2K. Let's jump over to Twitter. As you guys can see here in big bold is GTA 5. And keep in mind, 2K's put GTA 5 in here before. This isn't the first time that 2K and Rockstar have put GTA 5 in here. Now, they did take it out, and they're recently putting it back in. And keep in mind, you can't really go a whole lot into this because it is a games as a service, and you guys know how it is. They want as many people as possible to have access to that game if it's a games as a service. So, clearly, putting it into a game like Game Pass, where you can get people on the shark cards and stuff, make more sense in general. But it's just interesting, like, what was he talking about? Like, this is the issue I have with certain of these things. It really does feel like Jim Ryan just made up stuff because he didn't want this deal. And clearly, I don't know how business works in that degree. But to me, that man went up there and straight up lied. Maybe he's not talking about, maybe he's talking about previous conversations. For all we know, some of these publishers didn't like it, and then they ended up eventually caving and bending the knee with the money that Microsoft is putting it on there. Maybe it's just a financial thing. They're secretly talking smack about it, but behind closed doors, they're putting their games on there. But to me, if you generally don't like something, you think it's bad for the industry, you would not participate in the foolishness. And they're clearly participating. So what's going on? I'm going to go out there and say Jim Ryan's definitely lying. He is lying and maybe just really twisting the truth. Maybe he is, saying stuff that has been said behind closed doors, but he's really stretching what they said. That's a possibility. But I want to hear your guys' conversations in the comment section below. Do you think he's lying about this? There are some publishers, not very few, but especially the main people, the main publishers. I just went over the majority of them. We talk about the indie developers. Most of them's been on the service. Like, who hasn't? Who in a publisher way? Obviously Square Enix, I think there's a little bit more there going on. Watch my last video. But who has not been on Game Pass? That's what I want to know. Put in the comment section below what publishers. And this isn't an attack. No one attack anyone in the comment section putting people that hasn't been in Game Pass. I'm generally curious on who has been in Game Pass and who has not. And for the most part, like I just said, Ubisoft's been in there. EA's been in there. 2K's been in there. I'm sure Devolver Digital's been in there because I'm pretty sure they're the people who make Code of the Lamb. And I think Code of the Lamb was in there at one point. I don't know if it's in there now. Death's Door was in there, so that's another indie publisher. I know Team 17's been in there to a degree. Maybe I'm wrong about Team 17, but anyway, that's besides the fact. The majority of the biggest publishers in the industry have put games on Game Pass. Like I said, it could be a financial thing. It could be, we need this money thing. But to me, if you generally felt that this service was hurting the industry to some degree, you would never participate in it. And what I see now is the majority of the industry participating. Jim Ryan doesn't want this to go through because he knows how much money Sony would lose. So he's trying to paint it as the industry doesn't want this and it's just Microsoft that wants this. And to me, Jim Ryan, that doesn't make sense because everyone and their mom that's in this industry has been in Game Pass to some degree. You even have people like, Colin Moriarty. You guys can have your own opinions on him. That's fine. But he even said he would put his own games in Game Pass if he was able to. I know a lot of indie developers that would love to put their game in Game Pass. I would say that it helps the indie developers more than anything because it gives them a platform and it makes them take less risk where they can take years not working and work on this game. And, if it does well, they're able to take the momentum, work with Microsoft again. Let's say that Chained Echoes game. That game did very well, reviewed very well. So I'm assuming now that he's probably starting on the sequel or another game. He's able to have a lot more leverage when he goes to PlayStation and Xbox and maybe Steam because of Steam Deck. Maybe they'll focus a little bit more on those indie type of styles. He's able to focus more on those. And I think that is the biggest thing here. Jim Ryan, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what is your problem with Game Pass. Maybe it's because you don't have one. You have PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Plus Plus, and PlayStation Plus Plus Plus. Why don't you work on getting more of your AA and more big popular indie games in there day and date so you can have your own horse in the race and stop trying to take other people's horse out of the race because you don't have it. That's my personal opinion. I get it. I don't think, at the very least, he was stretching lies. At the very least. But put in the comment section below what you guys feel. You feel like Jim Ryan was lying? You feel like Jim Ryan was lying? I might clickbait the hell out of this video. I don't know. It's not really clickbait. I'm giving you the context what's going on. It's just maybe I'll make that title a little extra. It's Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.